If you're familiar with Among Us, then you're probably familiar with the Friday Night Funkin' versus Imposter Legacy mod, where you've probably heard of this sound before. Now, at first, when I heard that sound, I thought it was a choir or lead, a synth, but whatever instrument it was really confusing to specify. But I think I found it. I found a way to achieve this in this specific studio, lmms. If you could do this in FL Studio, congratulations, I guess, because apparently the sound is literally made with built-in FL Studio plugins, and as a result, I thought I could do the same, but I don't know how to use built-in lmms plugins, so instead I'm using a sound font for this, which I will leave as a Google Drive download in the description for you guys to download if you use lmms. So if you're using FL Studio and you're watching this tutorial, then I'm sorry, but I don't know if this is going to work in FL Studio because I don't use FL Studio and I refuse to pay for it. I use lmms for all my projects. All right, so now that we got all that out of the way, we could start. So let's add this to a channel. All right, so we now have our channel, and we're going to change the BPM to, I guess, the same BPM as a reactor from the mod, so 250. And if you open this, let me expand this real quick. If you open this and you play the piano roll, it doesn't really sound much like it, right? Well, we can do that later. We're going to start with the chords now. What was it called? Chord progression? I don't know anything about music theory.
You know, I changed my mind. Kill yourself.
But anyway, we can add this. But we put that there, put this there and there, and we got this. What we just listened to is just the start of the chord. And it's starting to sound pretty similar to Reactor, and you can tell because, well, obviously you have ears, so we have that. Yeah, we can put this on a B, put this there and there, and put this on another B. So now we have that, and we want to do the same chord, except it's one note down. So now we want to copy this chord, paste it on the 5th bar, and we want to do this something different for the 7th and 8th bar. We're going to put this. I want to say this is a chord that I thought never would work together, because if, for example, like you have these two notes, right? It doesn't sound right, but somehow when you add these two, it fixes it. But anyways, we go here, down 3, I think. Nope, that, and like this. Alright, nice. Okay, so we achieved the chord progression. This is how it should sound like now. Now you can see it's starting to sound exactly the same as Reactor. To achieve the same exact sound, we want to do the effects now. And the first effect we're going to start with is a low pass filter. So you just put a low pass filter, specifically 1 pole. And by default, you'll notice that link channels is enabled by default. You want to keep that on so we can adjust both of these at once by just adjusting only one of them. Because when link channels is disabled, it's not going to follow. So make sure you have link channels enabled. So when you tamper with only one of them, the other one will also be adjusted. So make sure it's like around this area. I'm going to put it here, and it should sound like this. All right, so now we achieved the slightly muffled sound. Now we want to add a equalizer, and not just only one equalizer. but 2 equalizers. So let's add 1 and 2. So the first one we're gonna do is going to be like this. This is probably gonna make a lot of professionals mad. So be mad at me all you want. I really don't care. I'm just doing what does best.
Can a robot write a symphony? Can a robot turn a canvas into a beautiful masterpiece?
This was the 24 production.
Alright, so you're gonna put this here. And it should sound like this. And the second one is going to be like this. And this is how it should sound now. Alright, so now that's 2 equalizers done. Now we want to add some reverb. So the next effect we're going to add is the C plate reverb. So it's pretty easy to control. Just kind of go like that, and it should sound like this. We want to add another reverb. This time it's going to be a different reverb, and that's going to be the calf reverb ladspa. So you want to decrease the decay time to around here. And it should sound like this. You can see we're starting to get there now. We only need 2 more effects, and the second last effect we're going to add is an amplifier. Now, the amplifier is basically just volume and stuff, so just put it to however you like it. I want to make it precise, so 150. So it's just going to be louder. And the last effect we're going to add is a bit crusher, so we have a clearer sound. So the only 2 things we want to tamper with is the stereo, so it should be around this area, and frequency should be around the first quarter, so like this. And now we're done. Okay, for some reason it sounds a little too intense, so I'm going to increase the frequency a bit, so kind of like that. Stereo. Okay, so I was tampering with it a little bit. For some reason, without the stereo, it sounds better. I'm also going to increase the frequency a bit. It sounds better, but ignore the whatever the fuck noisy part is going on at the end when you stop playing it. I believe that's not really going to be heard in the projects that you're going to be making this with. But now you have achieved the Among Us synth sound effect that's heard in like almost every track. Like, for example, Ejected, Reactor, what else? Meltdown, I think. Literally the only times I've heard this instrument is in Reactor and Ejected. But yeah, now we have our synths. And if you want to do Ejected, then I got you. You can just do E, B, G, D, and I think it's here, and then F. Nope. Yep, all right. So then C, G, E, and the same chord, except just 1 note down. And it should sound like this. So now we have both Ejected and Reactor. I hope this video helped you out. Now, like I said earlier, if you're using FL Studio, then shit, I don't know if it's gonna work for you. If you're using lmms, then it should come out as precise as advertised in this video. And now I'm gonna take my leave. I'm gonna take my hat off and put it on the fucking floor, whatever the fuck, and I'm out.
Waiter? There's a dead guy in my soup.
Oh, I'm terribly sorry, sir. Of course your soup is gratis.
Thank you. Now your turn. Waiter!